Welcome to the Collegewise Virtual College Fair. Thank you so much for joining us. A few housekeeping announcements before we get started. You can use the Q&A button on your screen at any time to type questions to our presenters. Your camera and microphone are off, so our panelists cannot see or hear you. This is just one of many sessions taking place, so be sure to sign up for additional sessions at www.strivescan.com/collegewise. And then this presentation is being recorded and will be available within about a week at the same website where you registered. And with that, I'll turn it over to our first presenter, Drew University.
Hi, everyone. Thank you for coming and being here tonight. My name is Elena Wong. I am the West Coast Director of Admission for Drew University, and I'm delighted to talk with you tonight. So to give you some quick information, I know I have a very short period of time, so I'm happy to answer questions in the Q&A as well. Drew University, we're a classic liberal arts and sciences college. We're based in Madison, New Jersey, so we're only 45 minutes from New York City. We have the really nice campus community, fun traditions, but we have the opportunities of New York. So some quick fast facts about who we are. We're 1,700 students living on campus. 90% of our students live on campus, and housing is guaranteed for all 4 years with a student faculty ratio of 12:1 with 60 areas of study. We're very well known for our theater program. We're ranked consistently in the top 20 for theater, and there's no audition needed. But bear with me as I tell you our most popular majors, right? So 60 areas of study. The most popular is business, psychology, English, biology, political science, international relations, and communications and media. So quite the variety for our students. But what's so nice is that students don't declare a major to the end of their sophomore year. So there's a lot of mentorship and there's a lot of growth that happens. We want you to try new things. We want you to see what else is out there. I know that there's a lot of liberal arts and sciences colleges out in the United States and in the world. So what makes us different? So Drew's whole belief has always been that education in the classroom is important, but education outside is equally as important. We want students to realize that they can and they will learn everywhere. So we actually offer 7 classes right in New York City. So you'll still live on campus, but you'll go into New York every Tuesday and Thursday, and we pay for the transportation to and from. But we have a class on Wall Street. We have a class at the UN, a class in contemporary art, communications and media, social entrepreneurship, theater, and museums and cultural management. And to just give you a quick, summary of some of these programs, the class at the United Nations is at the UN. We're one of 3 universities that have a relationship for undergraduate students at the UN. And we started this program in 1963. So this is not something new that we're trying. The class on communications and media, it's becoming a very popular program. And they do everything from going to PR firms, to NBC Universal, to BuzzFeed News to see the changing landscape of communications and media. The class in theater, we've teamed up with the Tectonic Theater Company. In this company, they did the Laramie Project, and students actually create a piece and then they show it in New York City. So they understand not only acting and directing, but producing and marketing and what does it mean to run a show in New York. So really some cool opportunities to have these experiences. And we believe this so much that we've created a whole curriculum around it called Launch Your Future, where we are requiring 2 off-campus experiences. So whether there's a class in New York City, a study abroad experience, London is listed there. 71% of our students studied abroad, but London is listed because it's a hugely popular destination for our students. We actually have a faculty member who's there because it's so popular. So some really great opportunities. We love our students, but we want them gone in 4 years in the nicest and the best possible way, right? So the average student will do 3 internships during their time on campus. We'll give credit, we'll give funding. And 94% of our students are either employed or in graduate school within 6 months of graduation. So there's a goal in sight for students and there's a goal in sight for us, and we want to help students get to where they want to go. I have talked a lot about people not being on campus, right? But we are highly residential. So we're NCAA Division III. We have 22 varsity sports, and a little different, we have equestrian and fencing, golf, and so some nice opportunities for our students, but 22 varsity sports, club sports and intramurals. But we have hundreds of events on campus. We have over 90 clubs and organizations. And again, we are an hour to New York City, with the train station being 3 blocks from campus. So if you are looking for that school that has that strong campus community, but has the opportunities of New York, of a big city, we can be a great opportunity and option for you. So briefly, how we review applications, we're looking at the whole student. So we use a common application or the coalition. We're looking at your transcript, but we're also looking at the curriculum. What have you taken, but what's been offered at your school? I love reading essays, maybe very nerdy, but I love hearing what you have to say. So we're looking at the essay that's the voice of the application. We need 2 letters of recommendation from a counselor and from a teacher. We're looking at your extracurricular activities. What do you do in your spare time? And we know you don't have a lot of spare time. So if you were fortunate to find yeast and flour during this pandemic and you have a new love of bread making, that is an extracurricular activity. So please don't think it has to be fancy. It has to be affiliated with the school to be an activity. We're optional. We've been optional since 2014, and we know what it means to read an application. So if you have been able to take a test and you are proud of your scores, submit them. If you don't. It's entirely up to you. And interviews are strongly recommended. We have some different deadlines, and what's nice is you can see that there's a variety, right? So from November 1st to December 1st to February 1st. So I think you need to figure out what works best for you and for your family, students. But know that, our early action is until December 1st. And then financial aid. So we need the FAFSA, we don't need the profile, but last year we handed out over 33 million in institutional grants and scholarships. 85% of our students receive some sort of institutional assistance. And what I applaud about our financial aid is that every student receiving financial aid from us is going to work with one financial aid counselor for all 4 years. So you're going to talk to that one person who knows you, who knows a family, to give them that update. The Office of Admission, we want to reward students who have done well. So we offer merit scholarships that range from $10,000 to $25,000. If you apply, you're already eligible, but we have some additional merit scholarships. We have our honors program, the Drew Action Scholars, if you're interested in community service and social justice. And then we have our scholarship in the arts. So if you want to continue the arts, we want you to come check us out. That is my contact information. I encourage you to, that was my timer. I encourage you to reach out should you have any questions, and follow us on Instagram. We're doing some fun things, and it's fully student run, so you can kind of get a sense of what's happening on campus. Thanks so much. I'm happy to answer any questions in the chat.
Thank you. Our next presenter is James Madison University.
All right, I'm going to interrupt Layla's screen sharing so I can share my PowerPoint. Good evening, everyone. My name is Erin. I am one of the assistant directors in the admissions office at JMU. I'm also a very proud JMU alum. So I like to say I have the best job in the world because I get to talk about my favorite place all the time. JMU is one of the big public universities in Virginia. Tons of school spirit and tradition and a real sense of community is what you're going to find on our campus. We're also really big on the color purple. So as I said, we're one of the public universities in Virginia. We have about 20,000 undergraduate students, but an average class size of only around 25 and a 16-to-1 student to faculty ratio. So we like to say you get the resources of the big public university, but still that feeling of a small college academically. That's part of what lends itself to the sense of community we have on our campus. Being a big school means we offer a lot of extracurriculars, over 450 different student organizations, ranging from political to social to academic to professional to service, really anything you can think of we have as a student organization. We are Division I for all of our varsity sports. We also have club and intramural sports. One of my favorite intramural sports is actually a real live version of the board game Battleship. It's played in our student gym, University Recreation Center. People have costumes, their teams, and it's a day-long tournament to win the game of Battleship in real life. So it's kind of a fun, unique intramural option we have here on our campus. But of course, you're coming to school to learn. Again, big school resources means we have about 164 different academic programs to study, spread out amongst the 7 colleges plus the Honors College that you see listed on the screen. It is very common for our students to double major or major and minor and have concentrations. For example, my degree, my major is in communication studies. I had a concentration in public relations and a minor in human resource development. And that's just a whole lot of words that said, I'm a people person and I wanted to make sure that was the career path that I took, something that kept me involved with people. But as I said, most of our students will end up involving different academic disciplines. Just a couple years ago, we had a young man graduate. He was a member of the Honors College. So that means he worked extra hard in his 4 years, and he was a double major. And his 2 majors were chemistry and musical theater. Those majors have nothing to do with one another, but he was passionate about the sciences and the arts, and he didn't want to have to choose one over the other. And at a school like JMU, he was encouraged and supported in pursuing both those fields. And as part of the Honors College, he had to do a senior thesis, and your senior thesis has to be tied to your academic major. So in his case, he actually wrote a musical about chemistry. So a really cute musical called Bonded the Musical about these two chemistry professors. In fact, you can go to bondedthemusical.com and you can still see the staged reading of that musical. And while you're there, you'll also see a short film because one of his good friends was a media arts and design major at JMU. And when she was there supporting him, watching him do the staged reading, she said, well, hey, for my major, I need to create a student film. So let's work together and adapt your musical script into a film script. They created it, filmed it, cast it, and they actually entered it in several film festivals. So an amazing example of the interdisciplinary approach you see at JMU. Also, over 80% of our students, by the time they graduate, will have some sort of hands-on experience in their field of study. So whether that's internships, practicums, student teaching, again, whatever is relevant to the field of study. We want to make sure you get to try out what you're learning and not just sit in a classroom and hear about it from a professor. So let's talk about how you can join us here at JMU. Our application's online. You have your choice of the JMU online application or the coalition application. We don't have a preference of one over the other, so it's completely up to you. Really doesn't matter to us. Our review process is heavily based on your academics within the context of your high school academic experience. We want to see you challenge yourself in the core subject areas, again, based on what your high school offered while you were there. And we want to see mostly A's and B's in those core subjects. So we're not looking at your GPA, we're literally counting up the final letter grades in your core classes to see how many A's, how many B's, how many of any other letter grades we might see. And that's the bulk of our decision. Now, there are some optional items that you can choose to submit. There's an optional personal statement. We don't have a required essay, so it's just that optional personal statement. Topic is of your choice. There's an optional letter of recommendation. You can submit a maximum of one. And if you submit either the personal statement or the letter of rec, I promise you we'll read every single word, but they're both optional. The third optional thing, and I always save this one for last to make sure you guys have heard me say optional enough times, standardized tests. We went test optional in 2017. So like you just heard from my colleague at Drew, we know how to evaluate an application without using test scores. And we don't require test scores for admission, for the Honors College, or for any of our merit-based scholarships. So we truly are test optional. If you want to send them, great. If you want to send them, if you don't want to send them, that's fine. We're not using them in our decision process. Now, specifically to any seniors out there, our application deadlines for this year, early action, that non-binding early program, that application deadline is November 15th. Regular decision will be February 1st. Again, that's specific just to this year. We made some adjustments to our deadlines due to the pandemic. So if you're not a senior, make sure you keep an eye on our website next year to see if our deadlines have moved back. So a quick word about where we are. We're in Harrisonburg, Virginia. We're about 2 hours from Washington, D.C. and about 2 hours from Richmond, the capital of Virginia. Easy to access our campus off of Interstate 81. Harrisonburg's a great college town. Population's about 54,000, and we're in the beautiful Shenandoah Valley. So we've got the Blue Ridge Mountains on one side, the Allegheny Mountains on the other. So a great place to be all 4 seasons out of the year for all kinds of outdoor exploration, including snow. But of course, it's Virginia, so we have to make a lot of our own snow. So we encourage you to come visit us when you can. My last plug is make sure you reach out to us. Obviously, we're going to get all of your information, but feel free to go on the admissions website. You can click on admissions/contact to see who your specific admissions counselor is. It might be me, it might be one of my colleagues, but we'd love to hear from you. You're welcome to email us or set up one-on-one Zoom or phone calls. All right, thanks so much, everyone.
Okay, do we have the College of Roanoke College on? Were they able to join us? Okay, it looks like they were not. So in that case, we're going to go right ahead to University of Richmond.
Okay, all right, thank you. And I'll start Sharing my screen. So hello, everyone. My name is Rachel Risto, and I'm one of the admission officers at the University of Richmond. So I'm so excited to tell you a little bit more about our school. We start with a really beautiful picture of our campus because it is such a gorgeous place. We're about 6 miles from downtown Richmond, which is the capital of Virginia. We're about 2 hours from DC, about 2 hours from the mountains, and 2 hours from the beach. So we're really centrally located in the state, and then about 6 hours from New York, so really well placed on the eastern seaboard. And there's a lot to love in the thriving capital city. Out from the 900 restaurants, from the food festivals to the amazing internships you have with the capital being so close, 7 Fortune 500 companies, and being one of the top 10 cities in the US to start a business in. But it's also just a really beautiful campus that our students decide to stay at year in and year out, which is wonderful. And it's nice to have that recognition. So why is being the most beautiful campus in the country important to us? Because this is a place that you'll call home for all 4 years, and a really inspiring place to spend your academic journey, your next academic step. Inspiring because of the scenery around you, but also inspiring because of the focus that our faculty have on mentorship, inspiring from the other really talented students around you. And our student body, what it looks like, we're a small-ish institution, I like to say. So not teeny tiny, but we have about 3,200 undergraduate students who live on campus, and we are an undergraduate-focused campus. 99% of our classes are fewer than 30 students, and 100% of them are taught by faculty. And so chalk it up to the beautiful campus or the wonderful community around you, but students choose to live on campus year after year. So it is highly residential, with about 90% staying on campus all 4 years. And our students have a wide variety of academic selections from 3 undergraduate schools, the School of Arts and Sciences, the Jepson School of Leadership Studies, and the Robbins School of Business. But there is no direct entry into any major. So all students begin at Richmond undeclared. It gives you that opportunity in your first year to really explore the breadth of a liberal arts education that Richmond can provide, have all the resources and academic advisors and student mentors to help guide you through what major might make the most sense for you. But if you can't pick one, that's okay too, because over 2/3 of our students have multiple areas of study. So that might be somebody who decides to declare a major in the School of Arts and Sciences in their second year, where a lot of our students do. This is home to our physical sciences, social sciences, humanities, and visual and performing arts, but have a really strong interest in entrepreneurship. So they also apply to major in the Robbins School of Business, which is not competitive not a competitive application process. All you have to do is ace your first year, which is pass accounting, calculus, and economics. Students can also choose to apply to the Jepson School of Leadership Studies. And leadership studies is a relatively new academic field, but it's a first of its kind program at Richmond. And it's the academic study of leadership and humanity historically, presently, and then what we think it can be or should be in the future through the lens of different disciplines. So that might be leadership in economics, leadership in government, leadership through social media. How do organizations attain leadership, and how do they use it, and how does it impact our life today? But like I said, the hallmark of, I think, a Richmond education is the idea that students find the intersection between different disciplines and really put that education to work. One of the ways that our students enrich their academic experience through Richmond is through internship or through research on campus. And we want to fund that because we know it is hard for a lot of our students to pursue unpaid internships or research experiences. So we guarantee every student up to $4,000 in funding for those experiences. But we also want to make sure that our students are prepared to live in a global society, which is why we ensure that there are a lot of different opportunities to study abroad outside of Richmond's campus. So about 67% of students will complete some sort of abroad experience before they graduate. And you see the partner institutional locations around the world. So we have over 75 partner programs. And what that means is that there is a guaranteed curriculum at a university and that partner institution that you can take and transfer back as credit to Richmond. So whether you're a pre-med major, or excuse me, a pre-med student, whether you are a business student, you know that you can study abroad and have that opportunity and transfer those experiences back. But there are lots of ways to study abroad and enrich your global experience at Richmond. It might mean studying abroad for a semester, or it might be studying abroad with a class through the Sophomore Scholars in Residence, where you live and learn with a community of students for the entire year. But getting involved on campus is also a really important part with 180 different organizations. Although we are a smaller institution, there's a lot of different ways our students are socially ambitious as well, whether that be politically, athletically, or through different student organizations. So I think that is my time. But I'm happy to answer any questions that you may have in the chat, and as well as my colleague Tom, who's behind the scenes today.
Great, thank you so much. Our next presenter is William and Mary.
Hello, everyone. Again, thank you for joining us tonight. We all really appreciate it. Now, the building you're seeing now is our famous Wren building. This is the second oldest academic building still, or excuse me, the oldest academic building still in use in America. This building has survived, 2 different wars, 3 different fires at this point, 3 different epidemics or pandemics. And I really see that as a symbol of the resiliency and the strength of the William and Mary community. We've had over 320 years to learn and grow and try new things and potentially fail, but then learn and try and grow again. And through all of that, we've really kind of honed in on what makes William and Mary great, what makes our students excited to be here, what makes our faculty excited to work with our students. And again, that time and that history has really allowed us to finesse and chisel everything in to provide you the best undergraduate experience possible. And really that's going to start on day 1. Your first day of classes, you're going to participate in one of my favorite traditions, convocation. And that's where all of our freshman students gather at that Wren building. They hear welcoming speeches and the university president, and he kind of starts off the year. And then at the end of that ceremony, the alma mater plays, and all of those freshman students get up, they proceed through the Wren building, and waiting for them on our quad or our sunken garden are all of our upperclassmen students, all of our faculty, and they're all holding signs that say "You belong" and "Welcome home." Truly a green and gold hug on your very first day, and hopefully you'll be feeling that hug throughout your entire time at William and Mary. Now, as you can see here, we are a mid-sized institution with about 6,300 undergraduate students and about 2,500 graduate students. We love our grad students. We are so thankful that they are here, but our focus is always going to be you all, the undergraduate. Our research, our study abroads, our internship opportunities, all of those are tailored and implemented for you. You're not going to have to compete against grad students to participate in research. You're not going to have to compete against undergraduate students. Really, there's so many opportunities happening on campus that if a student wants to get involved in something, really all they need to do is sign up and get involved. Just reach out. As you see here, our students do come from all across the country and including the world. However, we do maintain about a 2/3 in-state to 1/3 out-of-state ratio. However, if you are coming to us from out of state, don't worry. It's not like you're going to be the only one here on the weekend. It's not like you're going to be lonely every long weekend or anything like that. Campus really is the heart and soul of our community, and it's where everyone wants to be. So don't worry about that. Now, that being said, of course, your primary reason for joining us is going to be that academic excellence. Again, 320 plus years, we've really gotten it down to a science. And we are a liberal arts and sciences campus, meaning we want you to have a basic understanding of all academic areas, not just your major. In fact, you don't declare your major until the second semester of your sophomore year, giving you plenty of time to explore, try out new things, really see what it is that you want to do. In fact, your major is only 1/3 of your degree. The second third is what we call the college curriculum, and that's kind of our general education core curriculum of classes, your math, your science, your history, and so on. And then your last third is going to be complete elective credit. So that's something where you could be a biology major and fill all of your electives with theater or history or whatever it is that you want to study. In addition, you might fill that elective credit with research or study abroad. We send students to all 7 continents. You can even go to Antarctica, and that's something you can do for a year, a semester, maybe just a few months over the summer, or even just a few weeks over winter break. Now, that all being said, of course, campus is where the action is, and that's where all of our students want to be. So while our students are studying abroad, they're certainly going to be missing home. And that being said, we do require that all first and second year students live on campus. However, 75% of our students choose to stay on campus for all 4 years. So again, it's up to you for those last 2 years, but most students choose to stay on. And that's probably because we have an astronomical amount of clubs and organizations. And those range all the way from the identity affiliated groups to the blacksmithing club, to the aviation club, to the Slytherin House Club, or maybe you want to try your hand with the cheese club. Whatever it is that you're interested in, whatever it is that you might want to do, we probably have a club for you. And if not, you're always welcome to start your own. In addition, you might be going to one of our varsity sports or potentially going to one of our club teams events as well. Our students certainly have no shortage of fun on campus. Now, when it comes to applications and admissions, we are test optional for this year, next year, and the year after that. So if you're a senior, junior, or sophomore, you do have the option to apply test optional, and you will be equally considered for both scholarship and admission, regardless of test score. Now, that being said, with your test score, if you decide to submit that, that's something you can self-report. We don't need your official scores, so please feel free to self-report that on either your Common App or your Coalition application. We accept either. We conduct what's called a holistic review, so every component of that application is going to be equally as important and equally as well regarded. So that essay, the letters of recommendation, your extracurricular involvements, those are going to be seen as equally important as that transcript. We are going to be looking for those rigorous classes, those APs, those honors, those IBs, those dual enrollments. But whatever it is that your high school offers, that's the context we will review you in. Now, that all being said, we do offer early decision and regular decision. Early decision, we offer twice. Both are binding. First is November 1. You'll get your decision in December. Second is early decision 2. So if you want to include first semester grades, please feel free to do that. And that deadline is January 1. And then finally, regular decision. If you want to keep all of your options open, please feel free to do so. And that deadline is also January 1st. Now, when you submit your application, you will be automatically considered for all merit scholarship. But if you're interested in financial aid, please submit the FAFSA. We also recommend you do the CSS profile, but only the FAFSA is required. And I believe that is all of my time. So I will turn it back over to Layla.
Okay, thank you. Our final presenter is Seton Hall University.
Thank you so much, Layla. And I'm going to pull up my screen right now. All right. So thanks so much, everyone, for hanging into the end. My name is Gina Wright, and I am the Assistant Director of Admissions for students in the Southwest at Seton Hall University in South Orange, New Jersey. We are one of the country's leading Catholic universities, and Seton Hall is home to about 10,000 total students. That's undergraduates and graduates combined. We are also home to over 90 majors and programs and 32 plus dual degree majors, so pathways that take you straight to your master's or doctorate degree, many of which have a guaranteed seat, that you'll get as an applicant applying freshman year. So lots of wonderful programs. We have been singled out for distinction by the Princeton Review, U.S. News and World Report, Forbes Magazine, Money Magazine, and so many more publications, just for the quality of education that we offer to our students. Our graduates have gone on to be Fulbright Scholars, Marshall Scholars, prominent researchers, award-winning authors, journalists, Broadway stars, diplomats, peacemakers, successful business people, people in the world of law, influencers, all kinds of fields. On the right side of this slide, you'll see a full list of our and colleges. As you can see, there are 9. Actually, our medical school is off on their own now, but we do have a BSMD program that's very, very popular. But before I jump into our programs, let me give you a breakdown of who we are. As I mentioned, there are 10,000 total students. We're pretty split down the middle with men and women on our campus. Something that we really celebrate as an institution is diversity. We have a 45% diversity rate, and we have students joining us from all 50 states and 70 countries around the world. Average class size is 21. And one of my favorite things about Seton Hall is that we're big on school spirit. Environment, large public institution, but with small class sizes and a lot of hands-on attention from faculty. On the right of this slide, as I mentioned, is a full list of our schools and colleges. Some standout programs that I love to mention are these dual degree options. So again, these pathways that take you straight to a master's or doctorate degree can be found in all of the colleges at our university, with the exception of our School of Theology and Nursing. But some popular ones are our 5-year MBA program, our 6-year dual law program with pathways through our School of Business, Diplomacy, Political Science. There's also new this year a social work pathway and a religion pathway. I also mentioned our Join MD program, which has a guaranteed interview. And if you complete the program, you will have a guaranteed residency at the end. We also have 5 health science options for students interested in physical therapy, athletic training, speech language pathology, occupational therapy, and physician's assistant. We also have a brand new engineering path, and that's a 5-year master's degree program, as well as artificial intelligence. And both are agreements with the Stevens Institute of Technology, which has a beautiful view of Manhattan. We are located about 35 minutes west of New York City. So within all of these colleges, you have wonderful access to incredible internship opportunities, which we'll talk about in a little bit. One last note on this slide, our College of Nursing offers a direct entry program. So our students are graduating on time. None of our majors are impacted. So just know that you'll be getting out of our doors in a timely manner. On this next slide, I just like to point out some of our wonderful hands-on learning opportunities. We do encourage students to do research as early as their freshman year. This is huge, you guys. This is a great resume builder. It's a wonderful opportunity for you to get experience in your field early on. And also, again, looks great as you're applying to those internship opportunities, which we encourage you to do as early as your freshman year and as late as your sophomore year, and even that summer in between. Our students have had the opportunity to present at national conferences. We have a plethora of study abroad opportunities that range from 1 week if you're taking a really busy major, maybe one of those dual degree programs, to over the summer to full semester to 1 year long. We even allow students to find study abroad opportunities outside of our existing tuition exchange agreement so that they can explore at the university that's best fit for them. We have the #1 college radio station in the country, WSOU. KOU, which is a big deal. The Setonian is a wonderful opportunity for our journalism students, and we usually have a faculty member in residence that has been successful in their field in New York City or the surrounding area of New Jersey. Plenty of lab opportunities for our bio students, lots and lots of market research opportunities where companies from New York City and the surrounding area come to the university and hire our students to run real research opportunities for them, and plenty of field trips to New York as well. On the right-hand side of this slide, you will see just a small some of the internship opportunities we offer. We actually have over 17,000 opportunities, and a lot of our students have 3 to 5 by the time they graduate. This has helped put Seton Hall in the top 25 for highest paid grads, and our students' mid-career earnings are about 50% higher than the national average. Our employment rate actually jumped. It's 93% now, and we have been steadily increasing over the years. A lot of our colleges, including business, diplomacy, communication, education, health sciences, and nursing, have close to a 100% employment rate within 6 months of graduation, so between the mid and high 90s. On this next slide, you'll see what our students are doing for fun. So we have over 150 clubs and organizations. Some of my favorites I've named already. In addition to those programs, working with our radio station, we have Pirate TV. So students have the opportunity within weeks of being a student at Seton Hall to go to our sporting events and broadcast live, even as a freshman. We have our Shuna team, so that's our Model UN team. It's actually ranked 12th in the nation last year. Our debate team has won over 300 awards. And we have many, many other wonderful opportunities as well. We are Division I. A lot of folks know us for our men's basketball team that tied for the Division I title, or rather the Big East title last year. 25 club and intramural sports. We're very active. About 50% of our student body participates, and about 20% of our student body participates in Greek life. Here's a quick snapshot of our affordability. I've got a wrap up here. I'll end with this is a quick snapshot of our deadlines. We are open. We're on the Common App. We also have our own internal application that you guys are welcome to apply to. And one more time, this is my contact information. Feel free to take a snapshot of that QR code if you'd like to stay in touch, and I'd be happy to send you a fee waiver as well if you'd like to shoot me an email. Thanks everyone, and take care.
Thank you. Okay, just before we go here, did Roanoke, were they able to join us? Okay, it seems not. With that, thank you all for joining us tonight. When this window closes, there will be a link to a very quick 4-question survey. We'd appreciate any feedback you can provide. Also, this is just one of many sessions being hosted, so please be sure to sign up for additional sessions. And then in about a week, you'll be able to find this session's recording as well as other sessions recording where you signed up. Thank you to all our presenters, and thank you all for joining us.